Hi there, welcome to Tarot Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Aries energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Aries energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Aries energy. We've all got free will. We have to make decisions in our life. And the top row can kind of reference some ways we'd like to move forward in our life and some ways that we could be moving forward in our life. But the bottom row can kind of represent some fears or insecurities or self-limiting beliefs we have, or maybe some more shadowy ways of being or habits or people in our life that kind of conflict with that and kind of battle within ourselves about maybe detaching from some of those ways of living life or viewing life or people in our life. There's always going to be more high vibrational people in the world in relationship to some other people. You know, everybody's on the spectrum of learning lessons in life, and some people are more immature, some of them are more bossy, controlling, prideful, egotistical, lazy, whatever. And it generally, we know that, and it's not a big deal. It just is what it is. And we live our life, they live their life, and we assume because sometimes we're older than some other people, that, it's just part of the process of life, of learning some lessons. And, we're not condemning people because, oh my goodness, you're like 15 or 21 or whatever. They are at the stage of life where they're at. That's how they live life and view life. But a more of a problem is when there was someone in our life that we did want to move forward with. We were had maybe been on the same page at one time, or we thought we were, and we wanted them to kind of keep moving forward with us. And then it kind of can be that they might be happy. The bottom row can just represent that we're kind of happy in our comfort zone and we're not motivated to move forward in life differently. And, we've had people in our life who are kind of more bold and brave and confident than we were at a given time. And, it can be challenging on a friendship or relationship. And everybody can feel kind of hurt, So, anyway, that's what we're going to talk about. We all tap into Aries energy. Oh, that's way too big. Which can talk about, are we still kind of more about ourself, the world, ego, image, whatever, or have we learned some lessons in life? Are we kind of on the same page? Are we kind of inspired by some of the same things? We all like to hang out with people who are kind of on the more of the same page as us. Do we like the same activities and things that we find emotionally fulfilling? We can be attracted to people, we can like people, but, maybe we only really enjoy each other at work because, what you like to go do and how you like to do your weekends, no, that's not anything I want to go do, And that's, most of the time, that's fine too. It's just more of a problem if it's people that we really wanted to work together with, and it can be more of a problem. So let's go look at the top row. The reason for the top row's reading is high honor, which I view as like Six of Wands, Leo energy. And it's also the reason why the reading came out. The reason for the bottom row's reading is the House card, which reminds me of the Four of Wands, which is Aries energy. We all grow up in the world. For the first maybe 30, 40 years of our life, we're pretty motivated by ourselves and inspired in our more worldly, egoic Leo energy to be more motivated and inspired by ourselves and these things of the world. That's what we're kind of fired up about. And then there can come a time in our life where, we've learned some of these lessons in life. We're more about ourselves, less caught up in these things of the world, of the ego and the image and all that. And hopefully we work through some of our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs, so those things aren't still kind of causing inner conflict within ourselves. And then there can come a time, where we're more inspired to want to live our more authentic life. And I am motivated and inspired to work through those issues within me that manipulate me. Because when I go take action to present myself in the world, I want that to be the truth of who I really am, because I view high vibe Leo is also represented by the Sun card. I don't want to have all these issues that kind of manipulate me. And I go out in the world and I'm kind of operating from my ego nature of presenting an illusion of maybe how mature I am or what a wonderful life I have or how grounded or stable or whatever I am. I really want to be that type of person. So high vibe people would have done this work within themselves called doing their shadow work to free themselves from things that manipulate them so that they can move forward in life differently. So let's go look at the bottom row now. We have the Devil, fulfillment, ending, rider, and house. So we've all got our shadow nature to overcome. All the things within us, our fear, our insecurity, our more codependent nature, these things of the world that tempt us, other people in our life that we can be attracted to that tempt us. But are we aligning with our more hopeful, believing, loving nature to move forward in a way that we can be proud of? Have we been doing things that maybe we weren't proud of? Do we want to keep living our life like that, where then we're kind of living a dualistic life? We can be more shadowy, but we're presenting ourselves more high vibe. And these are things everybody can kind of go through to their own degree. And we can all go indulge in those things of the world that we look to make us feel better or make us feel more stable or grounded. You know, but eventually in the fulfillment card, which is kind of like, I view it like a Nine of Cups Pisces energy. Do I want to just make my life about indulging myself in the world, or where it's more about me, or more about the ego and the image, or someone loving me, or I'm in a more codependent relationship? In typical tarot, the Devil card looks just like the Lover's card, except people have chains and shackles on them, and it can feel restrictive and limiting and confining and oppressive and imprisoning. Why can't we work together being more authentic and loving? And everybody has to do this work within themselves to become more independent, is what high vibe energy is about, and high vibe Pisces. Why don't I love myself enough to get out of letting all these things manipulate me, or people manipulate me, or my ego, or my fear, or being more codependent? That wasn't my dream, and I am probably not finding this very emotionally fulfilling. So they start to think about what they would find emotionally fulfilling. Again, we took action, because this is the reason why the reading came out. And it's also, once we go through it, if we are willing to heal and grow and mature ourselves, we've kind of transformed the energy that we all could have gotten in relationships with people. Up here, we start out with the bouquet in the Virgo card. We can all get in relationships having hope and faith and belief that we're kind of on the same page with people. This job, this friendship, this relationship's going to work out. But sometimes we get in more mismatched relationships where one person does have more hope and faith and belief and working together cooperatively in being encouraging and supportive and loving, and the other person can create the illusion they're that type of person, but really it's kind of more about them indulging themselves in a relationship, right? And the Devil can mean that we're attracted to each other, but also we could have been drawn and attracted to each other because the Devil kind of challenges a belief system that we have that we might not want or don't even realize could be kind of buried in our subconscious. And those things kind of limit us from moving forward in the way, if we were more independent and free to, and loved and believed in ourselves, until we work through these things. Pisces can represent the subconscious, things buried in our subconscious that, why am I drawn and attracted to certain people? And I could be drawn and attracted to certain people for reasons I don't want to see the truth of. Leo energy, also represented by the sun, that I don't want to be illuminated to the truth of, or I haven't even realized why I could be drawn and attracted to certain people. And for some, it could be I might be a loving and encouraging person, and I try to love and encourage other people who don't love and believe in themselves to try to make them a more loving and encouraging person. Well, that's very hard to do. Everybody is the type of person they are. If you aren't a person who's more immature or prideful or egotistical, but you try to get someone who's more immature, prideful, and egotistical to change, there's a reason you made free will decisions along your life. The way you viewed life, the way you chose to look at life is different, and you made different choices in your life than some other people. And we have to realize some people are in quite shadowy energy. They can be, again, selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical, immature, all about themselves, want people to love them and make them God in their life, but they're really out for their own purposes. They can try to present, like the devil tries to get us to make our life more about the world and make our life more about those things. And there's people we can get in relationship with who want us to make our life more about those things also. High vibe energy, represented by God at the big picture, wants us to give birth to new things. We go through phases of life. We can enjoy that phase of life, but then there's a stage for that phase of life to come to an end, to face our fears of these things. The mice talks about things that eat away at the foundation of ourself, and that we had this way of viewing life, because the mouse card is Taurus energy, at every different stage of our life. When we were 15, 18, 21, we had a certain way of viewing life and things we wanted to go invest in and indulge in that we thought would make us happy. But if we keep kind of staying at that phase of life, it does kind of eat away at the foundation of our more creative, inspired, hopeful, believing nature, because we're refusing, in the ending card, like the death card, we're refusing to move on. Every stage of life had its phase of life. But then, it's time to go to the next phase of life, face your fears, grow up, mature yourself, see what you need to let go of, what are the bad building blocks, and just more immature ways of being. Makes me think of that Bible verse, when I was a child, I thought like a child, I spoke like a child, but when I grew up, I put away my childish ways of being. And that's what we did at age 15 going to 18, 18 going to 21, 21 going to 25, and we're meant to continue to do that throughout our life. But some people think, well, no, I might have had to do those things when I was younger, maybe even just out of ego, and people in my life who are like, you got to go do those things. And then they think, oh, well, now that I've kind of popped out as an adult in the world and I've accomplished some of those basic things in life, I do have a job now and I might be an adult now. Well, then they could have no interest. And that's fine. Everybody has free will to live their life whatever way they want. But now, they maybe always could have been a little bit more about wanting to indulge themselves and be indulged. It's just previously they could have, in order just to keep up with their peer group and ego and stuff like that, they kind of maybe had to move forward in life in a way that they really would rather not to have. And then they become an adult and they lack that self-motivation within themselves to keep moving forward in life any differently. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to heal or grow or mature myself anymore. I'm like an adult now and I have a job. I have this way of living life and viewing life that I find fulfilling. I don't want, the Rider card says Aquarius energy. I don't have any higher hopes or dreams. I'm good. I got these basic things that I want in life. Could they have a lot of those things? Could they have a lot of status, image, power, influence, attractive, charming, whatever? Yeah. And, I'm good. Well, so long as they find someone who is okay with someone who never maybe gets they can operate more from their ego, and they could be a little full of themselves. And they could think, I don't really have to work cooperatively with people from love. I might have these things of the world and people should indulge me in a relationship. I think there's other people who've experienced endings to their dream who want to be in a relationship with other people. I have an idea. I'm going to go try to present myself as someone in the world who's a high vibe person, so that, because even shadowy people want loving, encouraging people and supportive people who put a lot of work and effort into a relationship to be in a relationship with, because they don't want to really put in the work and effort, but it's to create the illusion. The bouquet is Virgo energy, kind of present themselves in the world like, this is my truth. My truth is just like your truth. We should get in a relationship. You should invest in me. You should hire me. You should go into business with me. And because they don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's maybe like themselves, who's also kind of more about themselves and a little lazy and a little self-indulgent, and maybe kind of shadowy Aries can be kind of bossy and controlling. Maybe in the Scorpio card, a little emotionally shallow and superficial. But I want people to love me and indulge me. So they try to go get in relationships with more high vibe people. And the high vibe people are motivated and inspired to be these loving, warm, nurturing people, because that's the free will choice of the type of person and foundation of self that they operate from. Aries energy is about the self. And we all have the free will to align with being more about ourself, or loving ourselves, and also being willing to give and love other people. And so some of the high vibe people get in some mismatched relationships, and the divine tries to help them balance out their emotions about the fact that they're in a relationship. This card says Taurus, this card says Taurus, and Taurus has to do with our philosophy of life. And do we act with more character and integrity? Are we who we say we are? Do we put in work and effort to act with character and integrity from truth and love? Or do we just present ourselves as being that type of person? And it's more about the ego and the image and status and indulging in that and how we benefit from it. But it's more about the image of how it looks than really putting in the being authentically that type of person, right? And so then the divine tries to help us realize that we're in some more mismatched relationships sometimes. With some people, other people are people who are loving and encouraging and supportive of us. And it's to kind of see the difference. Who do we want to keep moving forward with? Who do we not want to keep moving forward with? Who are we moving forward with? Who wants to move forward with us? Why are we moving forward with them? Why do they want to move forward with us? What's my truth? What's their truth? Am I willing to deal with the truth? And then the official person, we can have people in our life that we want to invest in, that we have been offering love and encouragement to try to help them kind of work through some ways of viewing themselves, some ways of viewing life, trying to get them to maybe look at life from a higher perspective in Aquarius energy, to have more hope and faith and belief in themselves, in others, in love. Because some people are very fearful of love. You know, you can get hurt doing love. And for some people, they could kind of feel that, what if I were to invest in love, having hope and faith and belief, and then it doesn't work out? Well, there are no guarantees in life, but Scorpio energy talks about being willing to explore the mysteries of life and the highs and the lows. If I want And Scorpio also talks about deep, meaningful relationships. You know, am I kind of willing to get on the roller coaster of life, or out of my fear and my insecurity that things won't go work out the way I want? And then it's kind of weird, that, I don't know, when other people think completely different than how you think, it's kind of hard to wrap your brain around it. And I've learned a lot of different things about trying to understand it from tarot. But, for some people, when they loving people freely give of themselves, I like helping other people. I like being loving and encouraging to other people. I like other people to come to where they have more hope and faith and belief in themselves. That's what loving energy does in the world. It tries to provide a loving, nurturing environment. But the thing is, people have to do this work within themselves. And some more shadowy people are like, well, no, I just want to be in a relationship with you, but I still want to be shadowy. So I might still want to be bossy or controlling or immature or lazy or codependent. And I want you to really be more codependent. And they kind of eat away at your foundation because they want you to keep staying in friendship or relationship with them. And it's kind of stopping you from living your authentic life, which is continuing to grow and heal and mature yourself and face your fears and keep closing out old cycles of your life to go to the next cycle of life, and keep growing and healing and maturing yourself. And they're like, well, no, I want you to stay here and let me keep eating away at your foundation. And even though nothing is changing here and the dream really isn't coming into reality and I'm not really putting in work and effort and acting with character and integrity, I present myself in the world maybe like I am. Isn't that good enough? I act like I'm loving to you. I go out in the world and I act like I'm maybe this loving family person who's attracted to you and happy with you and all this stuff. But it really isn't love that drives and motivates me. It's more of my codependency, or how it's something for me to look like I've moved forward in. That, this is great being in a relationship with you because you're loving and nurturing, but I don't want to be that type of person. And that's when the high vibe people are like, but I want to be in a relationship with someone who's like that. And maybe it can get to be where high vibe people kind of see the truth, that being illuminated to the truth. It's one thing to be a loving and encouraging person to people in the world, and you can be that. Do I move forward in a more involved relationship, kind of trying to bring a dream into reality with people who show me that is not their truth? God has given everybody free will. And if your truth is, I am kind of more motivated and inspired to believe in myself, want to work through issues that manipulate me. I don't like the world manipulating me. I don't like other people in my life manipulating me. I want people to work together with me and make their life about more than just what I look like and what I dress like and how much money we have and blah, blah, blah. That's kind of shadowy Scorpio, of the more superficial and shallow. And of course, being in a relationship with someone who's loving and nurturing and warm and Leo energy and the Aquarius energy, you could shine bright in your own way in the world, right? That works for them. It's all good for them. And the relationship can kind of work out for quite a long time until you kind of work through some issues within yourself that kind of make you initially, we're all at these different phases of life where maybe you could have been a loving, nurturing person, but maybe you did kind of indulge people in their poor behavior, and you could have been in doing that because of some shadowy energy within yourself about loving yourself, healing from some past pain and heartbreak, willing to stand up for yourself, to require more justice or fairness in a relationship. fearful of being more independent, not sure if you could manifest your dreams into reality, kind of feeling like you needed to work with these things of the world instead of trusting in a way that the divine has given you your own unique talent, skills, and interest. And if you keep putting in work and effort into those things and don't listen to your more egoic defensive nature that tells you, no, you should work with these things of the world and you should make your life about these things. It's like we were given all these gifts. That's high vibe Virgo. We were given all these unique talent, skills, and interest, and our creative nature, our inspired nature, our loving nature, our intuitive nature, our intellect. We can all use those things in a more worldly, shadowy way. We cannot invest in them and kind of grow and develop them. We can reject them. We can use them all in a more superficial, shallow way. Well, I do have my emotional, my creative, passionate, like sexual nature, my mind. I could use all those things in a more shadowy way to try to get what I want. And that's how some people live their life. And they operate more from their more defensive, egoic nature, or just thinking, I guess, that they're so smart that they can just manipulate people to get what they want. And they don't really have to more authentically, emotionally do love. But they're also never going to kind of shine their more authentic light in the world because they could defend their more worldly view of life. And they think that's the way to go, and that will make them happy, and they'll look like a shining star in the world. And they might, but they never maybe live their more authentic life. Could be more about conforming to the world. That's shadowy Taurus energy. It's more about the world. It's more about my ego, my image, and it's most important to have these certain things, or have it be more about me, or me protecting myself and me not getting hurt. It's like, fine, go do that. That's not my truth. I can't live my life like that. So I am going to be inspired within myself to listen to my intuition about things I need to emotionally detach from. I am going to have hope and faith and belief in myself and in my dreams, and believe I have more to work with than just these things of the world, that I believe there is shadowy energy in a world of duality, of free will, that doesn't want me to give birth to new things, and people in the world that are in that energy. But I also believe there's life-giving energy that wants to give birth to new things. At the big picture, we refer to as God, and I have that nature within me. There's other people in the world that are in that energy, and I choose to align with that energy. That is my philosophy of life, and that is the truth of the foundation I operate from. And I kind of got out of my ego of thinking I could change people. Everybody has their own truth and their philosophy of life, and what they find emotionally fulfilling, and what drives and motivates them, and what their end goals are. And they have the free will to do that in a world of free will. And I'm going to listen to the divine to work through. I kind of view the mouse card as Taurus energy, where I'm probably going to go through a period of feeling left out in the cold. And I'm really going to have to work through my own fearful nature that keeps telling me, you shouldn't do that. You should get back here and do this. In a lot of ways, it'd be fulfilling. You don't have to do that. And then there's other people in our life that are, if not literally, energetically kind of telling us that too. Get back here. Put an end to believing in yourself and believing in your dreams. Don't align with that philosophy of life. Don't align with more high vibrational fire sign energy, which is Aries and Leo and Sagittarius, that life's an adventure to be lived. And life is about learning these lessons. And we have the free will to keep repeating old patterns where there's nothing new to learn there. It feels dead, but out of our fear of detaching from it and that other people might not like it, we keep moving forward in like a dead dream. And that's like the devil. The devil doesn't want us to give birth to anything new. Make your life about these things. Be happy. Indulge in these things of the world. They aren't love. They're dead energy. But it'll make you look like a shining star. You'll be in a relationship. You'll have a successful job, or whatever. You'll have a job. You'll have a friend. You'll be in a relationship. It's all on the spectrum. That should be the foundation you operate from. High vibe energy wants us to see through the illusion. Pisces can talk about the illusion. The devil is the illusion. Things that don't, how our own shadow nature and other shadowy people in the world don't want us to live our more authentic life and be more bold and brave and confident, because that's not their truth. And they're not willing to move forward in that way. They don't look at life from that perspective. They still are in their more egoic or competitive, more worldly nature, maybe not willing to be more authentically themselves, come out from behind their ego nature to be more loving and authentic, or just live their authentic truth. They like staying here. It's their comfort zone. And there comes a point in time I can't keep repeating this pattern. I've been there, I've done it. I feel I have people, I'm letting my shadow nature or other people or the world try to manipulate me and control me in a way that's not inspired by truth and love for me to love and believe in myself and in being encouraging. I'm going to go invest in that within me and go invest my time, energy, and effort into people who I think are more in that energy. So in a world of duality, we can be in relationships with people who we can have a lot of in common with, that it could seem like a very stable, abundant, fulfilling way of living life. It's just not kind of more motivated and inspired by being creative and inspired and hopeful and believing in love. It's more about conforming to the world. And, Scorpio talks about that we're these emotionally complex human beings, because Scorpio is water sign energy. And we have all these complex feelings towards people, and we can love people, and they have the free will to live their life, and we're maybe not we should quit trying to change people, and they should quit trying to change us. You have the free will to live your life the way you want to live it. Can I love you? Can I see you at Christmas? Yes. Do we respect each other, that I am my own individual, and I have the things I find emotionally fulfilling, and I don't try to tell you to live your life. I'm not going to try to tell you to live your life like me. You can live your life the way you want, but sometimes it bothers other people, like I say, if you go live your more authentic life, because then you're not maybe hanging out with them as much or indulging them in kind of their more shadowy ways of behaving. And if they want to move forward with you, they have to kind of give up their idea of like the dream life and how they expected relationships to play out and things like that, because you're not willing to do that. And it's like, that's fine. Maybe we came into each other's life because we come into each other's lives to help us each get clear about what our truth is. And if you end up finding out that my truth is different than your truth, and I find out your truth is different than my truth, can't we wish each other peace and move on? But the people who know that they're more manipulative and deceptive in relationships certainly don't want people to know that you saw that they were more manipulative and deceptive. If people are more emotionally shallow, superficial, maybe kind of more intimidating and controlling, then people kind of realize they don't like that, and they certainly don't want people to view you like, why would they not move forward with you? Well, because that means I couldn't be more shadowy Aquarius and shadowy Taurus and shadowy Aries. It can be that they're kind of they thought everything was fine. But they also could be kind of more about themselves, a little more egotistical, like, you should think your dreams can't come into reality unless you're in a relationship with me, because I might have these certain traits, characteristics, or assets. I might be a little stubborn and prideful. I might be a little bossy and controlling. And again, I could think I should be kind of more indulged in a relationship. Well, love is supposed to be where you treat other people the way you like to be treated, and you are who you say you are. And high vibe energy is balanced, where, you know, emotionally, the truth of who you are should be who you present yourself to in the world. And some people are operating from their ego, and then they go send themselves out in the world presenting themselves like they're not operating from their ego. That's not balanced. Their ego, emotional nature, egoic nature is running their life. And high vibe people are like, no, I want to be firing on all four cylinders. My loving nature is important. My creative, inspired nature is important. My mind is important. My truth is important. My loving nature is important. And the whole thing is, some people haven't learned that lesson yet. And they think there's, some of them, they're still in a really indulgent stage in their life. And they got lessons to learn about that. They're going to have other people who don't want to stay in relationship because they're just more about the things of the world and indulging themselves in it. Other people don't want to bring a dream into reality, but they get in relationships creating the illusion they're willing to bring a dream into reality, but that's not the truth, and other people move on. And then other people, it's like shadowy people trying to get high vibe people, because the devil could go hang out with people who's just like themselves, but they don't even like being in relationships with people like themselves. And they could have people that are willing to hang out with them. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's like having minions. And eventually it's like, get away. I want to try to get someone who loves and believes in themselves to put an end to believing in their dreams and get in a relationship with me and make it all about me. And sometimes we can get in relationships with people and we didn't realize that they were a little bit more about it being more about them. And some of those people do like to play the role of being a loving, nurturing person in your life. And that's why you could have been drawn and attracted to being in a relationship with them. But then as time goes by, you could kind of see where they're not maybe putting up as much work and effort to keep moving the relationship forward, and you're the one always putting in the work and effort to make the relationship move forward, and they're like, that works for me, this is great, and you keep being kind of more codependent on me, you keep viewing me as this person your dream can come into reality, and keep viewing me as this loving, nurturing person in your life. But as time goes by, you eventually kind of see the truth that, no, I'm the only one putting in work and effort to keep making the relationship move forward. So I do think you're kind of indulging yourself in it. And apparently our ideas of the dream friendship or relationship is different. And I'm going to move on. And you can go repeat that pattern with someone else. And then they're like, shoot, the high vibe people used to put a lot of work and effort to being in a relationship with me have moved on. I need to go find someone else that I can go create this illusion with, and hopefully they won't ever work through the illusion, and they'll keep putting in work and effort to keep bringing that dream into reality. That works for me. You keep putting in work and effort to bring that dream into reality, and I'll keep indulging in the relationship for as long as it works for me. Some of those people have repeated that past pattern, and some of those people are having some people in their life saying, I'm not going to keep moving forward with you in this way. You harness shadowy Leo energy, and I need to stand up and defend my more loving, intuitive nature. You can move forward with someone else, because I don't think you are who you say you are. And then the devil's like, damn, they're not going to indulge me anymore. They did kind of look at life from a higher perspective. They are willing to stand up for what they believe in. Shit, now I need to go find someone else to create this illusion with. So, anyway, what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Aries energy? And as the high vibe people do move forward, loving and believing in themselves, there's other people that are mad because they wanted you to keep indulging them. And other people are moving forward with you. The Queen of Cups. Why? Because of the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups, I view this as Cancer energy and that as Scorpio energy. You kind of were offering love to other people, but they were either ignoring your love, or some people only want to be in relationships with people who are sad. Oh, because then I can present myself as this high vibe person. Oh, are you in your shadow energy? Are you sad because something didn't work out? A dream didn't work out perfect. Let me come into your life presenting myself as a person your dreams can come into reality with. But oh, by the way, I don't really do love. And I view the Queen of Cups as Scorpio energy. It's not really love that drives and motivates them. Can they seem very loving and nurturing, in a lot of ways be loving and nurturing? Yes, but it's more for the ego and the image and how it benefits them. And so long as the scales are tipped more in their favor of them being indulged in the relationship. And you felt unloved in the relationship. And then when you'd work through some of your issues to be more inspired to move forward in life in a more just and fair and loving way, and you wanted them to move forward with you because you had love for them, well, then they didn't want to move forward with you anymore, and they ignored your love. And it could have been just because, well, you're not in the same energy you were before. I don't like that. If I wanted to be in a relationship with someone who is like that, I would have gotten in a relationship with someone who is like that before. Before, you maybe hadn't learned to love yourself. And I view high vibe Leo as learning to love yourself, giving yourself love and compassion and forgiveness, and giving yourself the things like being a good mother to yourself. And when you haven't learned to love yourself, there's other people that want to play that role in your life. But then they can want it to be this more imbalanced, codependent relationship. I was loving to you. That's where it's conditionally loving. I was loving to you for how it was going to benefit me. And then you were supposed to love me, and then you were supposed to work together with me, and you were supposed to stay in a relationship with me and always stay more codependent, or let me be like, I'm the boss, you're the employee, I'm the parent, you're the child. But you didn't know that. So you could have been hurt. You could have been in some shadowy energy. Some loving people came into your life. You got in a relationship. You thought you'd met people that you could have a dream come into reality. But as you healed and grew and matured yourself, well, then they didn't want to be in a relationship with you anymore because the relationship dynamic had changed. And it really was supposed to be more about them. And it wasn't about love. And again, that can be really confusing. And you have to work through that. And you kind of realize that I was investing in someone who really doesn't operate from a foundation of love. Shadowy Scorpio can be people who have this certain way of viewing life and relationship dynamics, and they want to keep repeating that pattern. That's like their comfort zone. And it's like, well, I thought we were supposed to be loving and encouraging to each other so we could become independent of the past and be inspired to bring our own dream into reality. It's like, oh no, that's stepping out of my comfort zone. No, I want to repeat this old pattern. But I like being viewed as loving and people being codependent on me versus me investing in people and me being codependent on them or something, you know? But it's kind of driven more by how it benefits them than actual love. And so you decided to love yourself. And I'm not going to keep offering love to people who aren't inspired to move forward with me in this way because they kind of want to be more indulged, and I don't want to indulge people. It's supposed to be about treating each other the way you like to be treated. So you offered love to yourself, and you did this inner work to work through your own defensive nature and your fears and insecurities, and to love yourself. And then you are harnessing high vibe Leo energy, no longer operating from your more worldly a layer of your own more worldly shadowy energy, and you're ready to move forward in life differently and have no interest in repeating this old pattern. And the other people aren't, some of them aren't ready to move forward in that way. And they want, we all have our philosophy of life and how we want to live our life and what we think is just and fair. And they think that is just and fair, so they just need to find someone who's more on the same page as them. And I think as you move forward in life, being authentically yourself, offering truth and love and working together and putting in work and effort, being just and fair, there's always going to be people who are defensive to you because their way of operating in the world is to be rejecting and critical and all these things to try to manipulate and control you. And you just keep offering yourself love to not let it get up in your head. You just accept that some people are the way they are, not going to take it personally. I offered the highest energy of all, and there's going to be some people who reject that. Okay, I don't have to understand why. I just know working together cooperatively in a just and fair and authentic, loving way, you're not there yet. And I'm not going to get up in my head about people who are in that energy. You are viewing life the way you view it. And I'm going to keep moving forward. And again, there'll always be those people that are mad at you because why aren't you letting them manipulate you? Why aren't you acting like they're acting? Why aren't you doing what they're doing and indulging in what they're indulging in and making your life about these things and putting more importance on those things? It's like, I've maybe already been there and done that, and I didn't find it very fulfilling. Maybe at one time I did, but I'm moving on in life differently, looking at life from a higher perspective, keeping life in perspective. I'm probably going to live 80 years. Are there some things in the world I would like? Yeah. Are they in my world right now? Maybe not. Am I going to let that throw me into a tailspin? No. There's other things I can invest my time, energy, and effort into that are part of the dream. One thing isn't the primary focus, and I have faith and trust that the divine works with me to help bring those things into reality for me. And let's go see. I think when you're in that energy, there's going to be other people who are in that energy who are going to want to invest in you because they've also invested in people who are more selfish and greedy and prideful and bossy and controlling and unloving and superficial and manipulative, and they don't want to be in relationships with people like that anymore either. What's coming up for some people who harness a little more worldly, shadowy Aries energy? The Six of Swords. Why? Because of the Four of Swords. Libra and Aquarius energy. Well, because we all have the free will to meditate on the truth, which should be love. If I'm going to move forward with people in a relationship to try to bring a dream into reality, the Six of Swords is Aquarius energy. I should be doing that and taking that action or getting in a job or a friendship with people because I like them or I love them, But some other people, their truth is not that. Their truth is, well, I want to look like I've moved forward. I want to look like I've changed. I want to look like I've gotten out of my mental conflict. I want to look like a shining star in the world. And it's all driven by something other than actual love. I want to move forward with these people. That would make me look like a shining star. I want to move forward with those people because they shine bright in the world. I want to move forward with those people because they have money or status or ego or image or social clout. I'm sure that will make me happy. Or me being a shadowy Aquarius is just more about me. I need to find someone who's willing to move forward with me in a relationship where it's more about me. I'm sure that will make me happy. And as they keep doing that, there's always going to be more high vibrational people in their life. They're harnessing a more shadowy Aries, Aquarius, and Libra energy, but they're always going to have people in their life who harness a more high vibe Aries, Aquarius, and Libra energy, who are more balanced within themselves instead of tipped out of balance, who want a dream to come into reality based on truth and love, just friends and family members, or romantic interests. But eventually, as the other people keep trying to take action to move it forward in a more just and fair and balanced way, and the other people keep taking action to make it more about them and being indulged, eventually the people in their life see the truth that this dream isn't going to come into reality. Because you have different truths about what your end goal is and what drives and motivates you, and it's different. And a house divided can't stand. It's like trying to go this way. And people see the truth of it. And then some high vibe people in their life are like, and also if they've been people who've been trying to help people heal or grow or mature themselves, it's like, how long, at what point do people do some work within themselves to heal and grow and mature themselves? I can't, like some people are like a void. It's just pouring cup after cup of love and encouragement, and it goes nowhere because they've poked holes in the bottom of their cup. Well, I don't want to do the work within myself. I want you to keep giving to me and pouring into my cup. It's like, I'm done pouring into your cup. When is enough enough? And that's the devil. Enough is never enough. I need more attention. I need more encouragement. I need more support. I need more money. I need more status. I need more image. I need it more about me. And eventually people see the truth. I have given them everything they could, a supportive, encouraging environment or friendship or relationship or workplace for them to do this work, to work through their own issues and their own mental conflict about something. But the thing is, some people don't think, no, I don't think I have to learn to love myself. That is my philosophy of life. My philosophy of life is I go get in relationships with people, they're supposed to love me. Well, that is someone who's looking for like a mother figure in their life. I want to stay like an 8-year-old or a 15-year-old, and you love me like a parent would love a child. I don't want to grow up. I want to keep being indulged like a child would be indulged in a relationship. I don't want things to change. I don't want to have to put in work and effort in myself, into my own dreams. And I think people should indulge me in my way of viewing life. Well, good luck finding someone who wants to keep indulging them in that way of life. But if they do, I think high vibe people are going to move on, and other people who might be like, so you don't really want to do love and you let loving people go. You kind of like to do this over and over. There's always going to be other people that are like, well, I could move on, or I could move forward with you. The devil could mean that it has a lot of these things of the world that look good. So it kind of look like a shining star. I'd kind of look like I moved on. I would kind of look like I have all these things of the world, and there can be a lot of things that I do enjoy about that. It might not be my dream relationship. It might be living more from my mind than my heart. It might be a little more emotionally shallow and superficial. We all might be using our emotions and our sexuality and our resources to manipulate each other. But yeah, I'm willing to do this, because if I don't do this, I would have to heal from my past pain, heartbreak, fears, and insecurities. And I would have to invest in doing this work within myself to free myself from things that manipulate me, to love and believe in myself. And that just seems like a lot of work. I'll stay in a relationship with you, or I'll stay at this job, or I'll be your friend. And, they're also looking for people who could be more caught up in the worldly dreams, so long as it looks good by worldly standards. That's good. They also could be looking for people in a way that are more on the same page as them because they're not ready to be more authentic or bold or brave or inspired or loving. And if they get in a relationship with someone who is more like themselves, it kind of challenges, we can all think, oh, I'd really like to go do this, or I really want to live my life this way, or I want to go live in this place, or whatever, until we go do it sometimes, then that's when it kind of makes us question what we thought would be the dream life. And the devil kind of challenges what we thought. So it's just like anything, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go drink myself silly every day until that's the answer to my problems. That'll make myself feel better. And then it kind of drags our life down into hell. And the very thing we thought was going to be the answer to our problems is like ending our life and our dreams and completely driving our life off into the ditch. And then we have those emotionally complex feelings because that thing that we look to be the answer to our problems is also hurting us. And just same way people look to certain people, like, I need to be in a relationship with that person, but that person isn't being just and fair or working together with you or hurting you. And we have to work through those emotionally complex feelings of, what is it that made that so important to me, or those people, or whatever, or a certain status or image? Why does that have such a stranglehold on me? And it can be really hard to break free of it because it really takes putting in a lot of work and effort. And some people might find themselves caught up in something that they'd really like to get out of, just like anyone else who's kind of, because there's a reason why we're drawn and attracted to certain people. Because, if it's just I haven't learned to love myself, well, if loving people love me, no, it's one thing for me to be loving to people, but people can't love me. Okay. So then they get in relationships to try to be loving to people, and then those people, it can be always trying to change other people. And that can kind of be our own God complex. Like, oh no, I can change these people. I'm sure, I'm this loving or nurturing person that they'll change. And at what point do we quit trying to change people and heal? And again, sometimes we're drawn and attracted to people because we had people in our life who we loved, who weren't very loving and nurturing to us. Then when we grow up, we try to get in relationships with people like that to try to get them to be, they have some of those traits and characteristics. We want justice. We want love to win. But we've got to see the truth that it's kind of operating from our ego nature that keeps us trying to change other people. But we need to see the truth of what we didn't like and admit the truth that, I wish this person had been more warm, loving, just, and fair. They weren't. I'm not going to get in a relationship with all these other people in the world who are like that because of that issue. And as long as I don't work and heal from that issue, I'm probably going to keep being drawn and attracted to people like that. I need to work through accepting and get out of my ego and accept that some people in my life had these ways of being, and that I can be at a place of peace about it so that I can let it go. I don't need those people to change. I don't need those people to be more just and fair. I don't need those people to love me. I have learned to invest in loving me, and I can let those people be who they are. They are that way. It isn't a reflection of my worth and value. And if I'm lovable. And I let them live their life, have the consequences in their life of being the type of person they are. And I detach from that foundation that does not dominate or dictate over me anymore. And I've freed myself from it. And I'm going to move forward in a place of peace. The Six of Swords. So high vibe people had to work through this shadowy energy within themselves. The Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords of the mental conflict about it, of trying to get justice with people who aren't ready to be more just and fair or be more authentic or loving. And we accept that that's the case. I've done everything I can. I'm in a place of peace about it. I am ready to move on. The Six of Swords moves forward in an energy of truth and love. I offered people truth and love to work together with them in a just and fair manner. If they still are too defensive to be more authentically themselves, or they're still in whatever other shadowy energy, I wish you peace. And the Six of Swords moves away from more troubled emotional feelings and waters to more calmer waters. And it's like I keep taking that cup of love from myself and the divine and the other people in the world who are loving and encouraging. And I wish you peace, and you're probably going to keep moving forward the way you keep moving forward until you work through those issues. But some people will never want to work through those issues. And so they'll keep moving forward in that same way because it's painful to work through those issues. And that's why some people don't want to do it. And they don't want to see the truth of it. And it's like, I had the opportunity to be more just and fair and authentic and healing, but I decided I had a better idea. And pride comes before the fall, and they keep making these other decisions, and the dream keeps not coming into reality, or keep thinking, I'll go find someone else who's willing to indulge me in this way. And other people keep moving, and until they find someone who doesn't want to heal either, doesn't want to deal with the truth, wants to be more about moving forward in this more worldly or indulgent, egoic way, and if they find someone like that, they'll move forward with people like that because they think that's just and fair. And the other people are okay with it because, like, yeah, I already been there and done that, and I found it maybe more superficial and shallow and unjust and unfair and unkind. But hey, you knock your socks off, and you do your life, and I'll do my life. So there you go, Aries. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.